Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 218 is brought to you by Sia Quiles and Heart Abduction, some of our esteemed Patreon patrons. This episode is also possible thanks to our producers, For the Whim, Tiger Yuri, Tab, Mikey Toe, and Lazy Villager Megan Leslie. This week, Nina, Sergio, and I will be discussing the weirdest things that we have ever done in Animal Crossing. So to begin, hello Sergio, how are you doing?
Hi Chuy, I'm doing pretty good. I've been playing Animal Crossing a little more than usual. And in a good way, like it's reminding me of why I love Animal Crossing, how it's the simple fun. We do the same things over and over, but it's so much fun and I love it. I'm being reminded of my love for Animal Crossing. So it's been a good weekend. What about you? How are you doing?
I am doing well. And then, hello Nina, how are you?
I'm good. I, as usual, am in the opposite state of mind as Sergio and have been coming up with new names because I think I'm going to restart my island.
Ooh.
Oh man, I like Keelhaul Island?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
well that's Sergio. I love to hear it. You're bringing the energy of getting into Animal Crossing for the year 2022.
Yeah.
I've got some specific things to say about that. It'll be a little bit of a shocking thing, but I'm doing this on purpose. We'll get into it because it's going to be one of the weird things I'm doing. But before we do that, I actually want to start with some icebreakers. And Sergio, I'm going to kick it off here. I've got a question for you.
All right.
This week, you've turned into a hamster and nobody can understand you. What do you do to communicate and what do you try to tell people?
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to find something that I can walk on to get my paws all wet so I can sort of draw a message so somebody can read it. And I will tell them to not do anything about it because being a hamster sounds pretty good to me. I'm good. just don't step on me.
Honestly, I agree. It would be kind of fun, but that's probably because I've watched a lot of Hamtaro as a kid. And it just seemed like a nice little life,
Yeah.
being a hamster.
I guess it depends on who your owner is, really.
Yeah, a good point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, Sergio, you're up for the questions.
All right, Nina, I have a question for you. Ooh, look at that. It's timely. I'm going to give you a cup and you're going to fill it with something and it's always going to be that something. It's never going to run out. It's always going to be the same thing, the same temperature. It's going to always taste perfect. But what do you put in it?
I mean, it's what I'm drinking right now. Honestly, it's Earl Grey. Hot Earl Grey tea. I drink it all the time. It's my favorite. I would be incredibly happy if it was always hot too, because I'm really bad at letting it go cold. So this would be a dream come true.
Nice.
That is an awesome question.
That would make my life. I love it.
Unlimited refills, just
Yes.
forever flowing.
Yes.
Oh,
That's the dream.
Yeah. All right, Chuy, I've got a question for you. If you had to spend the rest of your life on an airplane or on a cruise ship, what would you choose?
Oh. Ooh.
Oh. I mean, I guess I'm thinking about the logistics of what, like, am I just there forever? I can't make like any stops anywhere?
I mean, I guess if it stops, you can't get off.
Yes.
Okay. So I can see things from a distance
Yeah.
or from the airplane parking lot.
Yeah.
I'd definitely go cruise ship if that's the case, honestly. At least like I could see some sort of sight on land,
Yeah.
I mean the airplane pretty cool, but everything's just like gonna be so far away.
That's true.
So it's like a little bit harder to take it in like that. And also it's kind of cramped in there.
on an
after
airplane. What
a
if it was
while.
like a really
Oh,
nice
true.
airplane though?
Yeah, I mean, like if you're, I don't know. I still think like a really nice cruise would
Yeah.
still beat a really nice airplane
Yeah.
in terms of space and stuff.
Yeah.
And don't cruises have like internet now too? Like everywhere has internet. I don't think a cruise would be too bad.
I'm actually pretty sure there's a guy that they call Super Mario who pretty much lives on this one cruise ship.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Like he has his own like sunbed with his name embroidered into it.
That's not too bad. And I feel like because if I'm the only one who has to stay on this airplane, but it's like still being used commercially or something,
Yeah.
I think the crowd on an airplane, like traveling back and forth, is going to be like a lot more annoyed than the
Yeah.
crowd on a
Good
cruise.
That's
So like the
true.
people on a cruise might be just a more enjoyable experience overall.
Yeah.
So, yep, cruise I think wins for
Okay.
me, especially if it's led by a captain.
He doesn't have a very big boat. I don't know. I don't know about that.
He'll be the new cruise boat. It'll be the minigame cruise.
That's
Come
going to
on,
be the next
Nintendo,
Animal
give us
Crossing
minigames.
series.
Right?
Animal
That's
Crossing,
the next spin-off.
new cruise line.
New cruise line. All right, well, that would be a weird Animal Crossing game, but let's talk about the weirdest things that we have ever done in Animal Crossing. And some of these, I don't know how weird they're going to be. Some of them might be weird, or maybe you thought they were weird. But I've written down about 6 things. I tried to do one per game, but there was like 2 in City Folk that I wanted to talk about specifically. So I did that. So I guess we'll just go like one at a time on here. Sergio, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sounds good. I think, honestly, when I think about it, I think the weirdest thing that I do, and this started with New Horizons, is my turnip rules that I talked about in some previous episodes. I'm very specific with how I handle the turnip market in New Horizons. So I only buy in my island, and I only sell in my island. I don't buy if there are over 100 bells. I just skip that week. And I don't buy 2 weeks in a row just to avoid a potential downslope, even though they happen all the time for me anyway. But yeah, those are my rules, and that's why I haven't accomplished the goal for the final one. I'm still working on it. I was going to buy some today, but they were 102. So again, got to follow the rules. I didn't buy any.
Yeah, I've always really liked your turnip rules because I feel like very often turnips are credited as like a little bit of a game ruining thing for people in the sense of like there are only so many things that you can pay off, and once that's done, that's like a major accomplishment that you've finished up, you know?
Right.
And then it just feels a little bit sad when it's gone and you don't have anything else to work toward with bells. So having turnip rolls, personally, I followed I always want to buy turnips on my island. I would never even if the price was as expensive as it could get, which was like 110,
Right, right.
I'd be like, all right, I'm buying turnips at 110. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So yeah, I like your rules. They're definitely more intense. I think next time I would definitely follow the only sell on my island rule. Nina, what's your first like weird thing that you've done in Animal Crossing?
And mine's like a little rule that I give to myself too. And I've always done this, like even before I knew this was a thing to do. But if I catch a fish or a bug, it immediately goes to the museum, no
Ooh,
matter
good.
what.
Good.
Immediate. Then I go and I read the description. It's like my favorite thing to do. Like even the first time we could dive with in New Horizons, and you get that first scallop. And Pascal pops up. I was like,
yes.
no,
Yeah.
Pascal, get out of here. This is mine. I like start swimming. No, it had to go to the museum first.
Nice. Wow.
Honestly, that was going to be my question. Like, what did you do with that first scallop?
No, it's got to go to Blathers.
Man, shutting
Oh, man.
Pascal down.
Pascal is, one with the world. He knows he's been told no before. He can handle it, but I gotta keep baby blathers safe.
I guess that's true. I couldn't do that to Pascal though. I was like, yes, please take the scallop. You need it. You need it more than I do. Yeah, I love that. All right. So my first one is a little bit of a reveal. I think just at some point I decided this is happening because I don't know when I will feel inspired to do this again. But I'm currently not playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. And this is the weirdest thing I'm doing to play Animal Crossing New Horizons. Specifically,
What?
I'm finally spending 30 days away from the game in order to unlock that secret haircut.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait.
Oh.
Are you playing
did
your
not-
side characters?
No, I haven't logged in. I could log in as my
Yeah.
side characters, but I haven't wanted to. I feel like maybe it's a little bit cheating to still play the game,
Yeah.
but as a different one, So I'm just like, nope, I'm spending 30 days because I don't time travel. I don't do that. And I think I'd be tempted to log into my character too if I use the other ones.
Yeah.
Because I do know there's the cheap way of doing it where you can log in, play the multiplayer, and then play as your character in the multiplayer, and that doesn't count.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know if that still works. I don't know if any of the updates have changed that, but I'm literally not playing in order. So this is me trying to be a
Wow.
completionist.
Wow.
I have to not play the game in order to complete the game.
Man.
Do you know what it looks like? Is this worth it? I'm wondering.
I've seen it.
It's the same as it always been.
Mm.
It's a little different because we kind of have as a default the old bedhead hairdo
Yeah.
Right.
from New Leaf. I think that's one of the default ones that you can learn. But yeah, it's a different haircut. I've seen it. Jackie has gotten it with her character, and I haven't gotten it with mine because I haven't gone that long. But I'm keeping track of the last time I played, and I'm like, all right, we're going to see. And the one thing I don't want to do is accidentally log in a day early.
Yes.
And then not get the haircut. So I might go a day or two extra just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when I'm gonna feel inspired to do this again.
Yeah. And are you sure it unlocks permanently after that?
Yes,
Okay.
it gets added to your just hair catalog, so you
Okay,
can go
good,
to the
good.
mirror and put it on.
What
Oh,
day
nice.
was your last
Oh,
day?
man.
Let me see. I wrote these things down. I think it was the last time I streamed Animal Crossing. That was
What are you gonna
that was the
stream?
last day.
Yeah. What
It's
about
been-
KK?
I think it's been a couple weeks now. Honestly, KK's been a big reason for me. I was so tempted yesterday, which was Saturday for us. I was so tempted yesterday to be like, oh, I still don't have all the new
Yes,
KK
you
Slider
don't.
songs. I want to go in. And no, I didn't let myself. I was like, I'm
Wow.
this far. I can't
Well,
fail now.
What
you know?
about are we getting any seasonal Nook shopping recipe or items? What are you missing out on in these 30 days?
I honestly, I don't know.
Oh.
I guess probably Festival. I think I'll actually be okay for Festival.
Oh,
It's
okay.
late in February. So okay, the last day I played was the 12th.
Okay.
So it's been
Okay, you'll be
almost
fine.
12 days.
Do we need to look
so
up when
almost
this
2
is?
weeks.
It's what, 3 weeks before? What is festival? It's always changes
It's on the 28th, I think, of February.
because it's
I want to say.
2 weeks before Ash Wednesday or something like that. Doesn't it have something to do with Catholicism?
I think it's the Mardi Gras day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the Sunday before that. I don't know. But this is the weirdest thing I've done to play Animal
Yes.
Crossing.
To not play it.
Not playing specifically
Wow.
to get this thing. And
Yeah.
Honestly, like in the time I'm, just trying to take in other games. I'm trying to beat some games that have been on my backlog for a while. I will be able to take a whole lot of time on Pokemon Legends Arceus, which will be fun.
Yeah.
So it's been nice, but also like I want to get organized and be like, all right, when I come back, I want to get back into my bug catching all the time, my fishing all the time. That way I really start making progress with the other achievements. But
Right.
yeah, this is the weirdest
Wow.
goal to be a completionist in the game. And I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? It's time. It's time to do it.
Ooh-wee.
But I will say, like, I thought it would be a little bit easier because I was like, I could take a little break from Animal Crossing. But I've been tempted to play like a lot. Every once in a while, I
Yeah.
almost click on it and log in, and I'm just like,
Chewy.
wait, no, I'm not playing this.
Chewy, you know what you could stream instead?
Sea of Thieves?
If you wanted to.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we've got some streams coming up. I don't know what I'm playing yet, so I wanna, yeah. I'm gonna explore new games on stream for
Nice.
everybody to join in. I actually really want to do the Wild at Heart. I'd
Oh.
started it all those times ago, and I think I'll just restart it because at this point I'm like, I don't know the controls. It's been a while, but it's like it's like Pikmin but cute.
Yeah.
Which is fun to say because Pikmin's already
Pikmin's
really
Yeah.
cute.
Oh, or Mario Kart or something.
Wow.
Something we can all play with you.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's true too.
Yeah.
We can all play. I can get my Animal Crossing fix on the Animal Crossing
Yes,
track
yes.
in Mario Kart.
There you go.
Side note, I get so distracted on that track just
Yes.
looking at how pretty
Yeah,
everything
right?
is. Like 3D Animal Crossing, please. Let's get that. Like full 3D camera.
Oh man.
It'll be good. All right, I've talked long enough about not playing New Horizons. Sergio, what's your next weird thing that you've done in Animal Crossing?
All right. So I call it outfit rotation, but it's not necessarily like every outfit. And this started in New Leaf. So, back then I would change my outfit pretty much like every day or sometimes multiple times a day, but I chose what I wanted to wear. But then someday I just said, you know what? If some villager gives me something, I'm just gonna wear it. And then that's how I kept rotating my outfit. I would only change whenever
Aw.
somebody gave me something. And yeah, that's what I've been doing in New Horizons lately. Well, there's some caveats. As you know, I only wear shorts in New Horizons and no shoes, no socks. But any shirt that I get, whether it be long sleeve, short sleeve, tank top, any hats, any glasses, I just put it on. Whatever they give me or whatever I find, I throw it on. And I don't always look the best, obviously, definitely, but I'm just going with the flow. I like it.
That's cute.
I really like that. Sometimes they always give me the ugliest things.
Yeah.
So I'd be dressed terribly
Aw.
the whole time.
The number of times they've given me a baby romper, like
Oh
it's
my God.
constant.
Yeah. Yep. Same. All right, Nina, what's your next weird thing?
I have never played as myself when I play Animal Crossing. I've
Whoa.
always come up with like a character or something. I've never been Nina. Same for Pokemon. I've never been Nina in a Pokemon game either. So like as you guys know, I was Grizzly in Keel Hall, which I think I'll be Grizzly in the new town too. I was Lemon in in New Leaf. I was either Finch or Bear in City Folk and Wild World, which I use those names a lot for Pokemon too. So I don't know. It always kind of looks like me, but it's always a little bit different than me. I don't know why I do that.
So who are you going to be in Pokemon Legends?
I haven't decided yet. I don't know. I kind of want to pick kind of like a old school, maybe like plant name or spice or something because it's kind of going to be like an old fashioned,
Yes.
so I got to think about that. Paprika. Did they have paprika back then? I'm going to have to do some research. That's the other thing is I always do like a stupid amount of research before I pick these things. So I got to start doing that this week.
I love it. That's a very delightful weird thing. All right. Cool. That's fun. The next one I have is this one. I don't think it's too weird. I think it's kind of like a fun, challenging way to play Animal Crossing. But before New Horizons came out, I did a whole month of Animal Crossing New Leaf, and my main gimmick there was that like I'm doing 30 minutes of New Leaf, and that's it. Like I'm cutting it off after that. So I streamed every day of the month leading up to New Horizons, and I was like, all right, this is my last month in New Leaf. I'm only taking 30 minutes a day. They're going to be very targeted days because I want to complete this town and my house and just have it at the point where it's just like done. And so I don't know. This is still something I'd like to use to revisit some of the older Animal Crossings where I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to play 30 minutes a day and I'm just going to see how far I can get like before I don't feel like playing it anymore, you know? So yeah, that's one just way that I think people can try out. And it's really cool cuz you find cool and exciting ways to really fill up those 30 minutes where you're just like you don't quite have enough time to do everything you wanted to.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, you're like, oh, I can start this and see how far I get. And then you kind of anticipate the next day and look forward to it. So you can like complete whatever you were working on.
True.
You know?
Nice.
So I really want to revisit a game and do this again. But it was really fun with New Leaf. And maybe one day I'll return to that one and see how I left that place. Because I thought I did a pretty good job with it. I was like, this feels complete. Like, I feel like my town is done and nice.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So, Sergio, what's your next strange thing?
All right, the next one, this applies to New Leaf. Most of mine started with New Leaf. But this is a funny one. So, in New Leaf, you could do a custom tank, the sleeveless tank, and you could do one a certain way if you match your skin tone, and basically you could pretend to be shirtless in the game. Whenever I saw that online, I said, I need to do that. And I did that. I even put a little bit of armpit hair on it. It looked pretty good. It looked pretty good, to be honest. So it was funny to run around shirtless every now and then. But the best part was when Aurora the penguin decided to wear that too, and she looked hilarious in it. Then I almost lost it the first time I saw her. That was not the plan, but it happened and it was amazing.
That's honestly perfection. I'm so glad that one of your villagers picked up that outfit and put it on.
That's when you go to Isabel and you're like, I need an adult, Isabel.
Tell them never to wear this again.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Yeah.
I gotta see it. Is it okay? I know you kept your photo album of New Leaf. Is there a picture of that?
Oh, there are many pictures. I'm gonna tag them down. I'll do that right after this. Yes.
You gotta share that
Put
with
them in the
everybody.
Yes.
That sounds great. Yeah.
You got it.
Oh my god.
All right, Nina, what's your next weird thing?
My next one is so boring compared to that. I feel like I've talked about this before, but I would make lists of like handwritten lists, color coordinated handwritten lists, especially when playing City Folk and New Leaf, of all the bugs and the fish and when to catch them, and then I would like mark them off if I've caught them or if I've donated them to the library, to the museum, and I did this long before I realized I could just like print out an accurate list online. But also long after I realized I could do that too. So I don't know. It was just I just like to write. So
yeah.
I don't have an excuse.
You like to write and draw and make it look really nice though. Like I've seen your lists and they're all great.
They're fun. And it was like interactive, gameplay.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think
that's true.
It's such a good way to pull you into it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, you're keeping your own log of everything, and I don't know. I think it makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My next one, I'm going to talk about two of them here because they're both for City Folk. And in City Folk, I think this is the game where I really got into the collecting aspect of Animal Crossing. Like, I always liked collecting a lot of the items and things, but City Folk in general was just like, I am buying as many things as possible and cataloging as many things as possible to like really get a complete I guess just collection in the game, you know? And the things specifically that I would go for were in that game, the Nook Stop machine thing in the store was where you would get like special prizes from Tom Nook. So he had like reward things. It was all like Nintendo item things, basically. I think that was like where you'd get a bunch of stuff like the Yoshi egg and the little Lilat starship thing from Star Fox. All of those items were there. And so I would like, even if I had items already at Nook's Cranny, or I guess at that point, like Nookingtons, I would go and buy them all just to rack up as many points as possible to be able to order those rewards. And I think the other collecting aspect really went into like even doing like the donations to the Boondocks in that game, where it was like, oh, I have to do this to get all these special little rewards from that, and then get the fountain and all all that slew of stuff. But even weirder than all of that, I don't know why I would go for this, but the Happy Home Academy in the city had a little back room where they would be like, oh, this month, this is the best room from this other month and everything. And I would go out of my way to like redesign my rooms as well as possible and get a room in that little spot. And I did. I started getting them after a while.
Nice.
So like my room was like the featured one back there, but every once in a while one of my like villagers would like knock me out of it, and I'd be like, why though? Like, why? They're the same room every single month. Why all of a sudden do you like this one? So yeah, and maybe there was like a theme with it or something, but I don't remember. But it was just like something that nobody needed. You got nothing out of it, literally like nothing, but I wish you did. Like, oh, I do miss like the physical Happy Home Academy location. Did that only exist in City Folk? I don't think it's been in any other game. Because in New Leaf, it was like Nook's Homes, and then there was like the Happy Home Showcase with all the rooms in the back.
And
but the
Wild
Academy
World,
itself,
Lyle just chased you around your house like
to sell you
the
insurance.
most frightening Tuesdays or whatever day he would come.
Yeah, insurance day. I loved it. So yeah, just a little thing that you could do in City Folk. The other weird thing I tried to figure out in that one, and that I never did, was like the auction house. And I don't think anybody can at this point because the online doesn't exist.
Right.
And it never worked for me anyways. It never worked.
Yeah, I know. It just never did anything.
Yep.
All right, Sergio, what's your next one?
All right. The next one for me it's kind of similar to yours, or like a combination of the ones you have done. Sometimes you have to omit doing certain things to get some special items. And again, I started doing this in New Leaf. One big example that I can think of, during Toy Day, if you talk to what's the special character name? I'm forgetting.
Jingle?
Yes, Jingle. If you talk to him and you get technically Santa's toy sack, right, that you use for the event. If you don't return it, you get to keep it.
Sergio.
So I would do things like that. But again, it was easier back then because I had a second island. So of course I would only do that on the side island, if you will. Yeah, it was doing things like that. Or even in your regular island, like sometimes you would want to come on third place or second place on the fishing and bug tournaments, so you could get the silver and bronze trophies, right? You didn't always want to do your best; you wanted to get a specific
Yeah.
item. Things like that. In New Horizons, I haven't done this as much, but sometimes you find a lost item and you can keep it after a few days. It's just there. I have a couple in my basement, but yeah,
Oh.
it was. I guess a little more significant in New Leaf. You could get rarer items, but yeah, sometimes you gotta not do what you're supposed to, and you get rewarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New
It's
Leaf.
kind of like keeping the lost items that you find, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
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 New Leaf. Also, you could keep Blanca's handkerchief and
Oh.
the Harvest Festival, the Turkey
Yes.
Day items
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was some good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fun to keep. They went well in the kitchens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, I love that. Not playing Animal Crossing leads to more playing
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Deviously.
Like right now, I'm not playing, but technically I'm playing because it's like actively going for that goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, Nina, what's your next one?
My next one kind of goes along with my last one, where I was pretty obsessed for a while with just restarting City Folk to see how the maps would generate. And this is another thing where I would make lists and draw what the maps would look like and put them into different categories and stuff. Same with the house types. City Folk has some really interesting villager, not villager, islander. No, what are they? Villagers, right? Animal
Yeah.
house types. Same with Wild World, actually. So I would like draw them and put them into categories, and I had all these lists, which I have no clue where they are now, but I loved it. I loved putting things into little categories. The City Folk had some like wide variety of islands too. Like for New Horizons, I think there are certain islands you can get. And I can't remember, maybe like there's 30 or something like that. But City Folk, I think, was a random generator, and I'm gonna have to look this up to double
Oh.
check. But it was fascinating, some of the stuff that it would come up with.
Oh wow. Yeah, I remember like seeing my friend's island for the first time. Like we played online, and it was wildly different
Yeah.
from mine. I was just like, this is a completely different vibe than my island. It's cool. It's just so cool.
It was cool. It was a good game.
Yeah, really good. All right. My next one is focused around Wild World, and this actually already kind of came up, but it has to do with Lyle in Wild World. I would literally just like try to see how far I can get Lyle to chase me, like in all the directions. Because, he'd like run up to you and be so excited. And in general, I just kind of liked talking to Lyle. He had such a distinct like cadence to his sentences and everything that's just like, you can hear this like sleazy insurance salesman character,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would spend way too long just like getting close to the front of my house and seeing if Lyle would notice me and then chase after me. It was fun. Just playing tag with Lyle for hours on
gosh.
end.
He scared me. I usually would try to run from him instead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get that. I mean, it was a little scary for sure.
Nice.
All right, Sergio, what's your next one?
All right, my next one has to do. I guess it was weird because it was a weird period of my life. It was during the first winter after New Leaf came out, so winter 2013. And I would sleep weirdly. I would sleep in segments. So I would fall asleep maybe around 8 p.m., sleep for about 3 hours or so, or four. And then I would be up for an hour or two because I just couldn't sleep anymore. So I would play games, and I was playing New Leaf. So I would just play New Leaf at very odd hours of the day. And it was fun, it was different, definitely. Nothing was open pretty much. So I kind of needed to allow myself to have things to do that I could do on my town. I worked a lot on my flowers. I would just catch bugs or fish. And I remember one time this happened. It was a very special occasion. It was 3 a.m. and it was raining. And I got so lucky. I finally caught the coelacanth. This is how I caught it. I caught it in one of these weird no sleep episodes. It was, I mean, I wanted to sleep, but I couldn't. I was so excited that I caught it finally.
That's awesome.
It used to be so hard to catch, too.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. They were too rare.
Yeah.
Too rare to find.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Nina, what's your next one?
So in New Leaf, we used to have to get those badges, which were kind of like the Nook Mile things. And one of them was like writing letters, which I don't think there is one in New Horizons. Is there? Having to write letters to residents?
No, I don't think there is. There might be a letter sending one, but it might not just be residents. I think it counts to everyone.
Right.
Okay. Anyways, I would write like these super detailed letters to my residents and then just like created like a diary almost of just what I was up to in real life and how things were going. And I got the the badges pretty quickly doing it this way. But in the past, when I had played, City Folk and Wild World, the letters I wrote to the residents were usually like totally random, just trying to fill up space, not really talking to them like they were friends. And I feel like it completely changed the way I viewed my residents in New Leaf. I felt closer with them because I was writing so often to them. It was nice.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's something that's like I've definitely not had with like New Horizons. Like there's not really much of an incentive to write letters because I remember like the early games writing letters was such a huge benefit toward like the friendship points and everything and that whole system, and even like unlocking like different fruit if you couldn't play with other people. And if you wrote a really good letter to somebody, every once in a while they'd send you a fruit, a non-native fruit, and you can plant that, and it was like, cool, I finally can do something fresh,
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a big thing for sure.
I'd like that to come back. I think that'd be cool.
That would be nice.
Yeah, me too. Cool. So this is my last one. It's on population growing, and it's probably one of the saddest ones. There's a funny part to it, and there's a sad part to it. But when we would ride the train in population growing to another town, so how you would do this is you have your memory card in one slot, and you're playing the game, right? The second slot would have another memory card, and then you could go from that town to the other. And it was all kind of like a single player experience, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it was still just like single player. It was multiplayer with single player, which is weird because you go into another person's place, but they're not there. It's just you.
Right.
And so what would happen with this is one of your villagers would always move away to that island or that town, whatever you would visit. And so I remember just like spending so long trying to travel from their town to mine and try to get like my poncho back because he's my best friend. I tried everything to get him. But the other thing that's like a little funny about it is there was also the little extra bonus of running into Blanca on the train and being able to like, color her face in and draw that in. So just messing with that for a long time, making my own little Animal Crossing Blanca face and being like, why does this look hideous? Why are the eyeballs on the top of her head?
Yeah, it never
because I put
up.
them in this quadrant. Yeah. And it's mostly because I didn't know how the quadrant lined up, on their face, but it was fun. It was fun to make her look hideous. All right, Sergio, you're up. How many do you have to go?
I have two more.
Okay, cool.
So, and they're both again, they're both about New Leaf, and it wasn't too weird for a lot of us to have a second island, but I think a lot of us kind of actually used the island in a different way. We actually, tried a different theme or try something new. For me, it
Mm-hmm.
was different. For me, it was just a way to get more resources for my main island. Actually, the way I got my second island, it was almost like on impulse. So back then in New Leaf, every once in a while, a villager would ask you for signatures for a petition, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
when that happened one time to me, I didn't have enough villagers in my town to sign. So I
Oh.
was looking around. I asked some friends, "Hey, can I go?" And I was able to go, but even then, I couldn't have enough signatures. So I said, "Okay, I'm going to Target. I'm gonna buy an extra copy of Animal Crossing
Just for signatures.
just
What?
for signature." Yes,
Wow.
and
That's the way to do it.
I didn't do much with that island. Honestly, I used it to plant a lot of perfect fruit trees so that
Mm.
whenever the perfect apples were on extra sale at my island, I would just spend the whole day shaking all the trees and getting all the fruit and selling it in my island. It was very time consuming, but it was a
Yeah.
nice
Mm-hmm.
way to make money.
Wow.
That's how you make ends meet. Just keep picking fruit.
Yeah. From another island, of course.
Yeah,
Or
always
town.
gotta
Yeah.
steal it.
Yeah.
That's incredible. At least they stacked. That was the
Yes.
best part.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. It's good that they stacked.
Hmm.
At least a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my goodness, that was a much harder thing to do in the past.
Yeah.
All right, Nina, you can finish it off here with your last one.
Yeah, I've got one more. This is another real weird one, but in New Leaf, I'd often go to Tortimer's Island, like the community open internet island,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
like make myself a little stump, chop down a tree and just sit on a stump and like pretty much go AFK and would watch people travel in and out. I'd love to see like
Uh,
what their faces would look like, what their hairstyle was, what they were wearing. Sometimes you could tell, like, go into their like profile. Didn't they? Would you have like passports or something like that that
yes.
show you
Yes.
where they're from in the world? And it was also super funny to me to just watch how they would react. Number one, if they saw I was out there, because sometimes you
Right.
just go in and go
Mhm.
straight to
Yeah.
game. But like once they realized that I wasn't gonna move, and I'd be like doing other stuff like watching TV or reading or cleaning or whatever. But like oftentimes they just hit you with a net for a while to see if that would get you to move, or try and talk to you with the little chat thing. A couple of times people would just like dig holes all the way around my stump so that when you get up, it like makes you fall into a
Wow.
pitfall.
Yeah.
Another time a girl like totally wipes the island, like getting rid of all the trees and bushes and flowers and everything, and with her shovel wrote out like in capital
What?
letters, "Jesus saves" across the island. I was like, what is happening? It was fascinating. It was one of my favorite things to do. This was like late in the game too, when I had gotten all of like the money I needed and was just pretty much just goofing. But
Yeah.
it was like, a little psychology class almost.
Oh wow.
It was bizarre.
Nice.
That's incredible. What a funny way to just like see what people would do.
Yeah. Some people were really
I-
sweet. Would be like, "I hope you're having a good day," and like, then I'm gonna go play a game. Like, it was really cute.
You know what? I feel like you're basically recreating for yourself the experience those British guards have.
Oh.
What are the ones who just like,
Yeah.
they stand there, they're not allowed to talk
Yeah.
or do anything or,
Not
Yeah.
the Beefeaters. They're Tower of London, Buckingham Palace. Whoever is in charge of the Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
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 Yeah, like you're basically just like, that's you, that's your role. And then you go home
Yeah.
and tell whoever's there to listen about what people did today.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It's like one of the reasons why I miss online play the most was just because how bizarre it was sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah, I love that it's weird.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and hop into our Haken's
Oh, wait.
Islander corner.
Sergio,
wait,
did you have one
something
more?
else?
I did have one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's not. Let's go to Sergio.
It's kind of a closer, so it kind of makes sense. It was closing the lid on New Leaf, and it's weird because I still wanted to play the game, but I stopped playing to make New Horizons better, if that makes sense. At that point, I thought it was gonna be Animal Crossing on the Wii U. But I thought, if I keep playing this game, it's just gonna make the next one a little bit less special. I want some distance between New Leaf and the next one, so I kind of forced myself to stop playing, and I wanted to play so much that I came up with this album idea. I said, well, I don't want to play, so I can make the next one better. What can I do? Okay, I have so many photos. Let's make an action album. That's how I transitioned my Animal Crossing time into the album. It took so many hours to make. I was so detail oriented about it. But yeah, that's really the reason why I did it, because I was still in love with Animal Crossing, but I didn't want to play it to make the next one better.
Yeah.
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 That makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, it's just like,
cool.
When are we gonna stop playing New Horizons? And just to like prep for the next one. You know?
I feel like it has to be announced first.
Yeah, I do too.
Man.
Like, I think we have to know there's a game coming.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see when we get there. Anyways, now I guess we can officially hop into Haken's Islander Corner. For those of you who don't know, every single week we ask our patrons on Patreon a question and read their answers out loud here on the show. This week's question was, what is your favorite hourly song from Animal Crossing, from any Animal Crossing game? We kind of like focused on that last week where we talked about the music in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I think it'll be fun to just discuss what people's favorite songs are. So I guess we can go Nina, then Sergio, then me.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
Also, Chuy, you've been getting such nice feedback about the editing you did on that episode with all the music.
Oh,
good job.
Yeah,
Nice.
thank you. And anybody who hasn't listened to it, I recommend listening with some headphones in.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty nice like that. Because I edit with headphones on, so sometimes I forget to check the desktop version where it's just like through a speaker, and I'm like, doesn't sound as good, but headphones are nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Our first answer is from Islander M, who says, my favorite hourly track is 5 a.m. My favorite Animal Crossing track of all time is the one that plays at the start of Wild World when you're working for Nook. It's so melancholy and nostalgic. I fell in love with the sound when I was way too young to know how to feel melancholy. And even that idea itself makes me nostalgic. 5 a.m. not only reminds me of that track, but I also have a lot of trouble sleeping and waking up at ridiculous times in the morning and not being able to get back to sleep. I have spent many annoyed hours listening to 5 a.m. and it always calms me down and gets me ready to face the day. Oh, that's so nice. That's what Animal Crossing is for, I feel like. It's there to kind of be your safe space when you need it. I love that answer, Em.
Yeah.
Nice. The next answer is by Honey Badger, and they said 5 a.m. So relaxing. That's true. And again, I go back to highlighting that this is the start of a new day in New Horizons. So I wonder if a lot of people that pick 5 a.m. is because they start playing the game at that time, which is very nice. And it is a very good song to start for sure. Very relaxing indeed.
Yeah. Lots of fans of that one for sure.
Yeah.
Summon Sloth said, oh boy, 3 a.m. It's so goofy, I can't help but enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, Sergio, from the bottom of your list to the top of Summon Sloth's list, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's just that weird, funky guitar that's saying you should go to bed. Go to bed.
Tay-Ann says, I love them all, except for that one that's super whiny, like, yikes. I would rather prefer relaxing music. Animal Crossing is my go-to for when I need a break, and just hearing some whiny music just is so off-putting. I'm pretty sure she's talking about 2 p.m.
It's
Right?
gotta be 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is the whiniest of
Yeah,
tracks.
yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tiger Yuri said, "It's not an hourly song that I know of, but I sure do miss the music from the very beginning of the game. So chill and relaxing." Yes, that's a very special one. We do hear it, for a good amount of time, a bunch of days, but it does get progressively a little bit different. But then we don't hear it at all anymore. So yes, that's
Yeah.
a fun one for sure. Good choice.
Yeah, it's rare moments where this happens in Animal Crossing, but like that music that kind of idea also happened, I believe, in New Leaf with
Yes.
the shops, like the main street. Once that started growing up, it
Oh,
got like
yeah.
more, and the music would change a bit.
Yes.
Yeah. But hearing that beginning stuff, oh, it is really good. It's so like subdued, very like light on instruments and things, but it keeps growing as you get a little closer to getting your full town in that game. It's cool.
Mm.
All right, our next answer is from Jill, and Jill said, "I love the 8 a.m. music in New Horizons. It gets me excited to play. I
Yes.
think my brain knows I can only play at 8 a.m. if I have the day off from work, so it automatically makes me happy.
Uh,
I know I have more time to play when I hear that music."
yes.
Yeah, that's so good. 8 a.m. is it. Like I said last time, it's a track that just gets me pumped. I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, I can do things to this song.
Charlie says 5 a.m. It's like a
Mm.
gentle wake up call. I wish we could select our own playtime soundtrack. I prefer relaxing songs as I use Animal Crossing to help me wind down at the end of the day. Yeah. I feel like that was the conclusion I came to last episode. I like the relaxing ones.
Yeah.
Yes, this would be my alarm if I use the New Horizons alarm, 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I agree with Charlie. Good choice. Samantha B said, "I have a favorite one in each game. My most nostalgic one is 6 p.m. from Wild World. Right now, my favorite one in New Horizons is 6 p.m. too." Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if 6 p.m. is your favorite in some of the other games, but it's a nice little coincidence on these two.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how like some tracks really like stand out. I know when we had Scruffy on, Scruffy talked about their project taking root, which is
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
Scruffy's like own Animal Crossing hourly music, and Scruffy told us that like 5 p.m. in particular was like a really interesting one to approach because a lot of people really like the 5 p.m. musics in a lot of the different games.
Yes.
And I gotta, if 5 p.m. is still my favorite from New Leaf, it's just so good.
Yes.
Is it my turn?
I just lost where we were. Yeah, your turn.
Okay, and we're on Clara,
Yeah.
right? So Clara Cross said, "Although y'all hate it, I love the 2 p.m. music. It is so catchy, and I just have to sing along with the high E tunes." Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, we hate it. But honestly, we have gotten some people who are like, it's not that
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, some people really like
'Cause
it.
the parts that aren't like the squealing sound, I'm like, there's potential here. But then the squealing sound comes in, and I just lose it.
Everybody likes something different. It's totally good.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Squee of Tortuga says, "I'm not sure I like any of them anymore." I've heard them all so much. Having said that, last week was the first time I've heard any of the ones from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. I wish we could have the beginning music from New Horizons back. Yeah, I really like the beginning music. That's what we were just talking about. The ones that's like, it's just so, it kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild. It's like so
Yes.
open, it doesn't leave anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even say what I'm trying to say. I just like it.
Yeah, and I want to say I listened to kind of a maybe it was a beat 'em ups video where he talked about games that were like Breath of the Wild, and at least like games that people perceived as being like Breath of the Wild and everything, and he actually like went through them and said, this one is kind of like Breath of the Wild, this one's not, but one thing that like kind of was consistent with a lot of them was actually that like musical inspiration, where it was very like subdued ambient piano noises and sounds and stuff, like little melodies that feel more like, oh, this is kind of just part of a magical world, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so having that in Animal Crossing, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense. Like, Nintendo's gonna have some of these ideas shared across a lot of their games, you know, where they're like, oh yeah, let's try this type of thing with the music and everything. And honestly, that's one thing I really like about Splatoon as well. Like, the fun that they have with like creating bands that are making the
Yes.
music that plays in the background, and there's just so much world building to the music in that game in general that is fun, and I want that to be explored more. But I don't know. That gives me ideas. Okay. All right. That is all of our questions from this Haken Islander Corner. All of our answers. I mean, for any patrons out there, next week's question is going to be, what is the weirdest thing you've done in Animal Crossing? So it should be fun. Oh, I
Yes.
completely forgot to share this. One of the funniest things we have ever read about Animal Crossing was a story that Quantrell shared, but it was basically somebody had, you know, those moments when they're like, oh, tell us a wish for New Year's or a secret for New Year's or something. And somebody was like, oh, this character is my girlfriend in Animal Crossing or something. And that like got read by everyone because that character had moved to some other place.
Oh, my gosh.
It was sad and embarrassing and hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. But yeah, just tell us the weird stuff you've done in Animal Crossing. Stuff that you don't see people normally doing. It should be fun. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. If you're sad to see us go, join us over on Discord. You can talk with other people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio, Nina, and me. Want to support Haken in a bigger way and tell us your answers to the Haken Islander Corner? Head over to patreon.com/ChuyPlays. $1 goes a long way to making this show even better and includes tons of goodies for you to enjoy. Get a special role on Discord, read a monthly newsletter, and get many other great rewards. We really appreciate the support and put your money towards some great things on the show. If you're listening on YouTube, what is the weirdest thing that you have done in Animal Crossing? Reviews really help the show get discovered by more people. Please leave a review on your platform of choice and let us know how we're doing. Haken is a wild production brought to you by Chuy, Sergio, Nina, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you all next time.